Hello guys, we are now at our lesson for week 3, which is about additional data definition, grouping, altering columns, adding primary key and foreign key, deleting table from database, ordering a list, and listing unique values. So first is about additional data definition commands. So this additional data definition commands allows us to alter the structure of our table. Alter meaning to say we could add, update, or remove certain columns or change their properties. The first one that we have here is the alter table syntax. So alter table, table name, and then you could add particular column name followed by the data type. Okay. Or we could also use this one to add a particular constraint like primary key or foreign key constraint, alter table, table name, add constraint. We could also use the alter table command to drop particular primary key or column name or constraint. Okay. For this example that you will be seeing, we are going to use these 5 particular tables: table vendor, product part, line, and invoice. These are coded in SQL Server, so kindly change it to MySQL compatible code if you are executing the code in MariaDB or MySQL. First is adding a column. So after creating your table and then suddenly you have a change of mind that you want an additional column, you could do that via code, okay, by using this syntax both for SQL Server and MySQL. So for example, we want to add the column psale code, which has a data type of character 1 to table product. We will use this particular lines of code. So first is under MySQL or MariaDB. So alter table, table name, add psale code, and then data type which is char. So try to run the code. So code was successful. Now under your table product, you can now see psale code. For SQL Server, again, let us check. So the column does not yet exist. So we will add psale code. You could add semicolon if you want, then click run. So table product now has a psale code with a character data type. So that is how you would add a particular column. Now, what if you want to change the data type or size of a particular column? For SQL Server, we use the following syntax: alter table, table name, alter column, column name, and then the new data type. For MySQL, we use alter table, table name, and then modify column, column name, data type. So let's say, for example, we want to change the size of column PT name in table part from varchar 500 to varchar 250. So let us first check table part under SQL Server. Table part, so PT name has a size of varchar 500. So I want it to change or resize to 250, varchar 250. So let us try to run the code. Okay, so from 500, it is now, sorry, table part, it is now only varchar 250. For MySQL, let us try to run the code. Alter table, table part, modify column, column name, and then the size. We will also change this one to from varchar 500 to varchar 50. Okay. You can also use this command to change one data type to another. For example, you want to change um, int to double or double to decimal. you could also use this code. However, take note, changing the size or data type of a column with existing data can cause issues such as missing or corrupted data or truncated data. Okay, you have to take note that when there is already a data inside that particular column, it may also return a particular error. For example, you're trying to change a string into a number. If all the contents of that column is already a string, therefore you cannot convert it into a numeric data type. Okay, next. When dropping a column or deleting a column, okay, suppose we want to delete the V-order column or attribute from the table vendor. To accomplish this, you would use the following command: alter table, table vendor, drop column, V-order, both for MySQL and SQL Server. So we are removing the V-order column under table vendor. Okay. So it is now removed. How about for SQL Server? Okay. It's also now removed. Next, adding primary key and foreign key. To define the primary key for the table part, use the following command: SQL Server and MySQL, alter table, table name, add primary key, column name, alter table, table name, add foreign key, column name, references the main table or the primary key table, the primary key, column name, and then optional on delete or update cascade. So for example, if the table parts foreign key has not yet been designated, it can be designated by using the keyword or command, both for SQL Server and MySQL. Alter table, table part, add foreign key, vcode references, table vendor, vcode. So this is our foreign key, vcode under table part, and this is our primary key, vcode from table vendor. Take note, guys. In SQL Server, it will allow you to create a table without a primary key. However, for MySQL or MariaDB, if you are creating a particular column or a particular table without a primary key, it can sometimes lead to error. So once creating a table in MySQL or MariaDB, you have to define or already declare a primary key. Okay, so take note of that. So let us try to add a foreign key to table part. So MS SQL first. Okay, table part. So we have table part here. We only have one primary key, which is PTID. So let us try to create a foreign key. Okay, could not create constraint index. Table vendor. Code. Okay, let us check the error. Could not create constraint or index. Okay, please wait. And we're back. Earlier, guys, we were trying to create a foreign key for table part using the V code of table part with the V code of the table vendor. However, as you notice, we were getting an error for both MySQL and MS SQL. Now, the reason for that is that we are trying to connect a foreign key, which is V code, to table vendor vcode, and vcode is not the primary key of table vendor. So we need to connect the primary key to the foreign key of the same particular column. As much as possible, the same name of the column, if not at least the same data type of the other table. So in order for us to execute this particular code, we need to change it to VID, and then table part should also have a VID. So in this instance, we do not have a VID. So what I'm going to do is to create column called VID. So going back to our code, so we need to add a column called VID for table part. Okay, VID, and then in. Okay, so let us try to run. Okay, so our table part will now have VID, and then let us try to add a foreign key using VID column. Okay, so it now executes successfully. So a while ago, I already did this one for table uh, part and table vendor of uh, MS SQL. But in order for you to see that the same code is working, I will execute this one. Okay. So next, in our example is that we could also execute multiple primary key and foreign key at once. Okay. Notice we separate the lines of code by semicolon. However, for this example, we will not be able to execute this one because we already have, or we already set our primary key for table line. Okay, as I have told you under my SQL, most of the time you can run into an error telling that you have to define a particular primary key for a particular column. Now, you could try to run this one for SQL Server and then drop table line, okay, then recreate it and do not define a particular primary key. Anyway, we will try to run the code for MS SQL. So what I am going to do is to drop table line, okay, then recreate table line, but this time I will not declare primary key, okay, and then let us try to do this code foreign key, okay. However, we will still encounter an error because we need to change these two. Okay, let us try to check code. Okay, okay. Table invoice first. Let us change this one to invoice ID, and then table product to product ID, table line. Okay, let us change. We will remark lines so that we will not encounter an error. Then I will add prod ID instead of using prod code. The original code will work, however, because you have set a different primary key. you need to make sure that the column declared as primary key are the ones you are going to use in creating the foreign key pair on the other table. So in this instance, let's try to run. So we have, okay, could not create constant or index per table and primary key, product, okay, check again. Okay, let us check if we are having an error here. Okay, okay, let's check again. Okay, guys, we're now back. So a while ago, we were encountering an error in creating primary key for table line using invoice number and product ID or prod ID. Now, the reason behind this one is that always remember that a primary key cannot be null. Okay, whereas the default attributes that we have for our table line is that line number is null and inverse or invoice number is null. So what we did or what we will do is to change or modify the column invoice number and product ID into not null. So let's try to do that first. Okay, sorry, let's alter column. Okay, okay. So after modifying our column and setting it to not null, let us now try to add those two columns as our primary key. So it was completed successfully, and there you now have a primary key consisting of two columns. Now, we can now execute the two foreign key codes that we have. Okay, let's try to run. Okay, however, I think we will again have an issue. I should have set line number instead of prod ID. But anyway, I think you already have an idea of what you can do. When you are creating multiple foreign keys, you just have to type it and make sure that there is no issue with uh, the next line or the next line of code. Okay. Next is dropping a column or removing a column. Sorry, I think we're finished with that one. It should be deleting a table from a database. So let's say, for example, we want to remove or delete a table including all of the data. In this example, we have table part. So we use the syntax drop table, table name. Okay. Then we just execute it. Okay. For MySQL, the same syntax. Okay. We have a little activity here that you can do on your own using two tables, table main and table child for MS SQL and MySQL. What you just what you will do is to execute it and then alter the table to add the foreign key reference and then insert random data. Then you drop the table again, recreate the code, and then you perform a delete cascade by adding foreign key. And then there are some questions here. You could try to do this on your own. The syntax are already given, okay, for the alter table command. Next is ordering a list. Now, in order for you to order a list, what you do is to use the syntax select and then the columns or columns that you want. If you want to select all the column, you use asterisk from the table name and then where condition, then order by particular column or column list. And then take note when you are ordering, the default is ascending. If you want to sort it from the topmost to the least record, you use the descending command. Okay. Let's say, for example, we want to select a particular column from table employee. Okay, these are the columns. And then we want to sort it according to the following columns. Okay. The order by clause is useful in many applications, especially because the descending qualifier can be invoked. For example, listing the most recent items first is a standard procedure. Typically, invoice due dates are listed in descending order. You can use the order by clause in conjunction with other SQL commands. For example, note the use of restrictions on date and price in the following command sequence. So where P in the in date is less than January 21, 2010, and P price is less than or equal to 50. Okay. Then if you want to list unique values, what you could do is use the distinct keyword followed by the column. Okay. Take note, you could use multiple columns under distinct. What will happen is that if you use multiple columns under distinct, it will concatenate the values from those particular column to come up with a unique value. Okay, so that is how you would use distinct. Okay, okay, so I made an example for table product so that you could see the use of order by and distinct keyword. Okay. So in this example, return the V code, in date, price, and product description. So we are getting all the in date, which is less than. So let's try to. Okay. So we have one product. Okay. Let's try to return the other products. We have 20. Okay. And this to 21. So notice we have three products and then order by V code, V code. So this is ascending. Order by price, descending. So descending price. So first is it will sort by the V code and then it will sort by the price. So because the V code is in ascending order, it will be uh, followed first. But what if we change it to P price? What happens is that okay, the P price will be followed. But what if we add the V code in the later part? Example A, price ascending, then V code ascending will happen. Still, uh, the price will be followed. Okay. So what if the price are the same? So let us try to do that. Okay. We now have two price, and then it will, if they have the same price, it will go on to the next column, which is V code, and then it will sort it ascending. So the lowest person followed by the higher value. Okay. Next is unique. For example, we have the same listing here for the P desk. For example, select listing P description. We have the same description. So it will only return cupcake and brownies. But if we add another column, let's say V code, what happens is it will concatenate both values and then return the unique values. Okay. So because when you concatenate all of this, it's unique, so it will return it. How about if I use the price? I already return two because we have two brownies having the same price. So there you have it, guys. Additional data commands. Please prepare for your first quiz this coming week. Thank you and good day.